Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the skills tab. I'm personally this episode going to go over the Mage class, and I'll make one for the Archer and Warrior as well. But a couple key notes just as well as overall strategy for the skill classes here to come, right? So for me, starting out until I got my basic skills, and that's what you see here on this initial screen, to level 100, I kept them evenly leveled up. I didn't go 1 to 50 and keep the rest at 20 or any other imaginary stretch of how you can divvy them up. Once I got past level 100 or to level 100, I started leveling them a little bit differently. So I started leveling the most powerful skills to 125 one at a time for a specific reason. And the reason is once you get to 100 or 125, that's a threshold to be able to level the Ruin class up to the next level, right? So it did me no good to spend, I don't know, let's just say 30 days getting them all up to 125 when I could get 1 to 125 and actually increase my damage, defense, and everything else earlier, right? And let it kind of segment that progression instead of just waiting for one lump sum over a long period of time. So for me, that's my suggestion to you. Anything past level 125 or 100, start doing them in 25 skill increments. As you can see here right now, I'm working back on working back on the thunderstorm here. It says once I get it to 150, then I'll be able to use the ruins again. Then I'll move on to dragon summons, so on and so forth. But you want to make sure you maximize your ruin levels, which you'll get plenty of through the Endless Tower in the group events. So don't worry about that. Just make sure you're doing your group events, even from an earlier standpoint. It may not be easy. You may only get a few at a time until you get strong enough to do the higher levels and then the higher difficulties. But keep accumulating them, and you'll get to a point where you have so many that you cannot keep up with the skill levels. So that's my key points on this one. Make sure you get them to 100, then start stacking the levels one at a time to each level ruin tier structure. Okay. Once you get to level 100, or essentially 650, which is 150 of the blue levels or special levels or whatever you want to call them, you unlock your talent classes. Truly, the one thing I will tell you, because I've heard many go through the last promotion and say, wait till 130 to make sure you get all your shards for your soul fragment shards, or wait till you're 150, or do them as soon as you can. Your points for your talent points will start stacking as soon as you hit 100. So regardless, when you hit 150 and finish that promotion, you're going to have that stockpile, okay? You're not missing out by not doing the promotion early, or vice versa by doing the promotion as fast as you possibly can and getting it done at level 130. Okay, so don't worry about that. However, these are significant game changers when it comes to your character's overall execution of everything. So there's 3 classes of talents, and these talents can replace the configuration, which we'll get into next, of your normal button layout, right? Don't fear though. Even if you max out your configuration and put talents in every single slot that you had before, your character will still cast or execute their original skill sets, okay? So you're going to have, these are in addition to your actual ones you've been used to for the entirety of the game. The attack ones you're going to have pretty much right off the bat, and defense pretty much as well, maybe shortly thereafter. And the attack ones, for the mages, number 1, Finger of Death is your best friend. As you can read here, it instantly deals 600% the character's attack as damage. I mean, it's insane. It literally should be nerfed. Don't please nerf it, but it is by far the most deadly attack of any character that I've seen. When you pair that here with its extra effect, you have a 30% chance to stun a target for 3 seconds. It's a game changer, right? I mean, it's self-explanatory. Number 1 skill you should be using, okay? The right-hand column, regardless of its attack, defense, or common talents, are your shields, right? Now, the attack shield isn't really a shield. What it does is, you can see here, for 15 seconds, it activates your character at 28% increased attack. So it looks like a shield, doesn't really help your defense, increases your attack, okay? Defensive here, the ice shield lasts for only 4 seconds, but absorbs 25% of the character's max hit points. So it's great for health absorption. And down in the common, you get the magical shield or magical residue shield, which lasts for 10 seconds, and it pretty much has about it has plus 45 damage reduction. So not great, but not bad, just depending on what your character build really is. So if you're going for a glass cannon, go ahead and put this flame shield on. Depending on what I'm doing, I will switch the flame shield with the magical residue shield. I don't really use the ice shield, although I've seen a lot of high-level mages doing so, and I may change my mind at some point in the future here for you. This one, let's just go back to the attack here in the middle. So the middle column has a different slew of talents here for your skills. So the illusion, pretty much in a nutshell, you teleport. The remaining character from where you teleported still exists for a few seconds and deals a portion of your original damage. Kind of nice for evading. Can kind of be annoying when you're trying to get in front of a mob of enemies and then you just teleport completely behind them, let's say for the warrior guard or something like that. So it's something to get used to, but I do kind of enjoy it. And I apologize. The Flame Mastery here, the secondary skill for it, it just continues to increase your critical hit chance and an additional critical damage, right? So critical damage, increase regular damage, boom, glass cannon, right? The defensive skill sets, this to me, I had equipped. It's kind of cool. You transform another player. Probably great for PvP, not so great for PvM. Yes, it will transport a regular enemy into a ram or goat or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't do bosses, right? So let's face it, most of the time we're really trying to fight bosses. Kind of a waste of time. As you can see, I had 0 skills in it after I reset my skill points. The Frostberry here comes immune to damage for 3 seconds, but you can't move. Kind of cool. Again, if you're really trying to build a defensive character, really great. I mean, you can have the absorption from the ice shield, the immunity to all damage. So if you're looking at that PvP, this is going to be a really great skill for you to go ahead and build up. Now these common talents on this side from my experience are passive talents. So Starfall is really cool. If you read here, every 6th attack it deals 80% damage to the target, but it has different things. It can cast raining down meteors, right? Or it can cast cursed stars. You can read them here for yourself. But it's nice to have that extra skill without taking up another skill slot, right? So I personally, if you're going for a somewhat balanced, a more aggressive stance, which is what I have, I go ahead for my Finger of Death. Okay, I use the teleport, and I use my Flame Shield, and then I use Starfall. Okay, you cannot use 2 shields, just so you know, and I'll get into that in the configuration here. You choose obviously what you like, but the other key point here is you see some of these are empty and grayed out. It's because you have to reach your proficiencies. Proficiencies were something that was introduced with the God Soul, and we will get into that in the God Soul episode, but they do intertwine in the fact that you need to increase your core, your God Soul core, in order to be able to continue the progression of your talents. Other than that, there's no correlation between them, but it is imperative that you know as soon as you continue to increase that God Soul, or the sooner you can increase the level of your God Soul and your proficiency, you can unlock better talents, okay? The configuration here is where you can actually swap the weapon skills, attacks out. So it's going to have your normal button layout here, and then it'll have all the check marks to the normal skills that you've been using. Now, if you scroll down, you can get your talent skills. If you click on the icon, and then it'll bring up all the other ones it can be. You click on equip, it now puts it in that circle. I'm going to go ahead and move these around just because it's truly irrelevant when you're in automatic. It's not going to mess with my playing, right, by switching the Finger of Death and the illusion spaces there for me. So the reason I still have this here is because I personally don't have another skill. Like if I go ahead and get this out, I can put the magic shield in, or I could put the ice shield, but I cannot put another shield, as you see here, on top of the ice shield. So that's kind of what I was mentioning. So you can't double dip with aggression or attack and defense. You need to pick a layout. So you can be a glass cannon, you can be totally defensive, or you can be somewhere in the middle, right? It all depends on what kind of gameplay you are. If you're PvP, again, I recommend going more defensive with the defensive skills, the ice shield, and excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here for you. And the frost barrier, definitely cool, along with the art of transformation. If you can do these three with the finger of death, I think that's a very strong PvP setup. And then as far as the passive skills go, your Solar Force, Nether Force, Guardian Force, I've never unlocked these from something that I've acquired, so I'm not entirely sure if, complete Destructive Force quest chain to obtain. So again, I have no idea what that quest path is. It's never popped up. I don't know if it's something that you'll just go ahead and get as you continue to level up and go through the normal quest progression, which is what I'm guessing. But it's just a couple things to coolly look at and see what they do for you, but nothing you have to pay attention to. So as a quick recap, skill levels here, just keep them going evenly till 100. After 100, segment them off until the next tier level for ruins, so 125, then 150, so on and so forth. Make sure you're doing your endless towers from the beginning to gather your ruins, so you have enough ruins to go ahead and level these up as your skills level up. Talents, play around with them. If you want me to make a separate episode with an exact PvP, exact PVM, and well-rounded, I certainly will. Leave a comment, let me know what you want me to make, and I'll put that information out there. And don't fret if you're a warrior or archer, I will go ahead and make an episode specific to those characters as well. I won't go over all the random skill information again, but I will be happy to go ahead and do a talent breakdown with my opinion for the different setups based on your gameplay. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.